They're going to.
We'll call to order tonight's Committee of the Whole for the Auburn City Council meeting for August the 15th, 2023. The City Council should have the minutes from the Committee of the Whole of the August 1st meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Not, is there a move to approve?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the minutes carried forth. Questions on tonight's agenda for the city manager? Any questions? All right, city manager, anything for us?
Don't have anything.
Okay, do I have a move to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, we're adjourned and we'll get started in about 4 minutes. We'll call to order tonight's Auburn City Council meeting for August 15th, 2023. Certainly welcome everybody that's joined us here in the chambers, and welcome everybody on WANI as well as that are watching through our streaming services. We're glad to have you. Roll call. Lindsay?
Adams.
Here.
Koblenz.
Here.
Dawson.
Here.
Griswold.
Here.
Norman.
Here.
Parsons.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Here.
Here. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Under Mayor's communications tonight during the Committee of the Whole, we had no activity, so I do have a number of announcements I'd like to make. 47 years. 47 years is a longer time than some people on this dais have actually been with us. 47 years certainly encompasses many changes in our community. The expansive growth of our community, the change of a small college town to a small city. And through all that, this employee's been here at the City of Auburn dealing with children and their parents. I can't think of much more fun things to do. But tonight we recognize Becky Richardson on her upcoming retirement, and certainly thank her for her dedication and commitment to the families of Auburn for 47 years, Becky. Congratulations. Just a few other things. This weekend, Walk Like Mad will take place right here in front of the building. This is a walk that some mothers have put together that it certainly brings recognition to distracted and drunk driving. If you'd like to come and participate, it's fun. It's first thing in the morning on Saturday at 8 o'clock. On September the 1st, at Auburn High's first home football game, the school and the city will be recognizing DeMarcus Ware. He'll be coming through town on his way to Troy to be recognized by Troy University on Saturday the 2nd. And DeMarcus will be recognized before the game as Auburn gets ready to play Enterprise. I do believe that his number will be retired, and I hope the council will support naming a day for his honor as we recognize our first NFL Hall of Famer from the City of Auburn. We're very proud of that young man. I want to thank the Impact Club from Auburn University for having me over today to speak to them. It was a good group of young people who were getting ready to serve our community. Woke up very early on a hot morning the day before school starts to get fired up and get ready to go, and I appreciate that. And also had an opportunity to have lunch today with the Executive Director and the CEO, I believe, of Boys and Girls Club International that came to town, and I enjoyed lunch with the board of directors of our local Boys and Girls Club, as well as their national director, and continue to be appreciative of everything that Boys and Girls Club does for our community. I have a statement I'd like to read tonight. Many of you might be aware that there was a verdict reached this afternoon and regarding the trial of the murder of Will Buechner. Today, a verdict was reached in the trial of Grady Wilkes, resulting in convictions for the murder of Auburn police officer William Buechner and the attempted murder of two other officers, Evan Elliott and Webb Sistrunk. But the legal process is not over yet, with sentencing still to come, as well as the possibility of an appeal. We must continue to respect the legal process, and as such, my comments tonight will be very brief. As has been true since that tragic night, our support and our prayers continue to be with the family and the friends and the loved ones and the colleagues of Officer Buechner, who gave everything in the performance of his duty. We continue to honor Officer Buechner's unwavering courage and that of his brothers in arms who were wounded that night. We're all thankful for their service. Anyone else on the council have an announcement they'd like to make? Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor.
I'd like to congratulate you on your appointment as the chairman of the Lee Russell County Appellants. I think that's a new thing. I'd also like to publicly thank you for making the details of your various mayoral activities available to the council. In the past month, you provided the minutes of activities including the League of Municipalities Directors Meeting, the Auburn Research Technology Foundation, Airport Advisory Board, the aforementioned Lee County Council of Governments, and the AO Metro Planning Commission. Your efforts to keep the council apprised of your participation in these activities is greatly appreciated. So thank you and congratulations.
You're welcome. And one small correction, Lee Russell, Council of Governments.
What did I say?
You said Lee County
Oh,
Council
my
of Governments.
goodness, Lee
That's
Russell.
okay.
Includes Phoenix City.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And I enjoy correcting you, Kelly.
I know you do.
Anyone else?
Yes, I have an announcement to
Please,
make.
Ms. Taylor.
I have a community award meeting on Monday night. I think that's August the 21st, at the Boykin Community Center from 6 to 8 p.m. So the public is invited to come out, and we have a guest speaker. I'm not quite sure who that speaker is, but because I haven't had a confirmation yet, but we will have the award meeting. I also want to say to Becky Richardson, my kids, they played little league sports, all of them, and I just remember you being out there much older at the time. I'm talking about you being much older, much younger at the time. And so, and I thank you because you was always, helping me, trying to get them in different sports and that type of stuff. So I really do appreciate you. And 47 years is a long time, and to be with any type of service. So congratulations on your retirement. Enjoy it. Don't let nothing take you away from it. Relax and do all the good stuff. So congratulations again.
Thank you, Connie. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move ahead with Auburn University Communications. Y'all are back.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, y'all. With the conclusion of sorority rush yesterday, the fall semester is officially upon us. New student convocation is going on tonight at 7 p.m., if the weather permits, followed by the first day of classes tomorrow morning. The Student Government Association will be hosting Ask Me Days tomorrow on the Haley Concourse, offering advice and guidance to new students. This was helpful for me, not only as a freshman and a sophomore, but I have 4 classes in the Haley Center this year, so I imagine they'll give me some guidance tomorrow morning as well. But other than that, the SGA, we're looking forward to the city breakfast at the end of the month. I will say, football season coming up, everyone's really excited. We got UMass September 2nd, going to be a whiteout. Other than that, that's all for me. War Eagle.
Thank you very much. Glad y'all are back.
Mr. Mayor, can I add something?
Please.
Just for those of you watching online, there will be fireworks this evening following the student convocation. So be aware if you're watching on screens or wherever, so we don't get phone calls about various things. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. To this point in time, we'll move forward with citizens' communications for items on tonight's agenda. This is only items on tonight's agenda. There are a number of things on our agenda tonight that do have public hearings involved. If what you'd like to speak to us about does have a public hearing, we'll ask that you wait until that time. But if there's something else on the agenda that you'd like to speak to the council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record, and you'll have 5 minutes. Seeing no one, we'll move ahead with city manager's communications.
Mayor, I do not have any city manager communications this evening. Are you ready for the consent agenda?
Please.
All right, our first item of business is a consent agenda. Does any council member wish to remove an item from the consent agenda and deal with that item individually?
Yes, I would like to remove 8 Bravo 3, please.
8B3. Okay. Anyone else? Sonny?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to remove 8 Charlie.
Anyone else? Okay, Ms. City Manager, 8B3.
All right. Item 8B3 is a request from Greenwald Hospitality LLC doing business as Tau Kappa Epsilon for a special events retail alcohol beverage license for September 15th, 2023 to serve beer, wine, and liquor on property located at 554 West Thatch Avenue.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion is second. Mr. Griswold?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to recuse myself from this vote based on my participation on the Teak Housing Board Corporation.
Anyone else? All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Item
8-3.
8C adopts the City of Auburn fiscal year 2024 transportation plan per the requirements of the Rebuild Alabama Act.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Mormon?
Yes, sir. I hate to be a contrarian on this one, but I am not convinced that a roundabout, which is part of this project, I think, roundabout and turn lanes, I'm not convinced that a roundabout or is necessary at this intersection, or that the geometry of the intersection is a problem. This is one of the oldest intersections in Auburn, and I'm not sure it needs fixing. We've been dealing with it about 125, 150 years, and if there's a lot of traffic accidents there, I haven't seen the data yet, but I'm not aware of it being a real issue. So I may be the only no vote, but I am a no vote.
That project also includes Ms. Grouch's work at Drake and.
Drake and College, that
Drake and
includes turn
College as
lanes,
well
and
as-
yeah, this is in the biennial budget and was adopted as part of the capital improvement plan for next fiscal year. And something that has been requested, there were two separate projects and we combined it into one so that if we're gonna make a mess out there, just gonna do it all at the same time.
Any other comments or questions from the council?
Well, that intersection, both those intersections have been problematic since I've been on the council, and when it was part of Ward 3, I received quite a bit of communications from individuals, not only those who drive vehicles and also those who walk that area. So I think paying attention to it and improving it is necessary.
Anyone else?
Well, I actually live in that area, and it is problematic. And I'm glad that somebody decided to do something about, getting it where it need to be. Actually, that's a traveling route for me. So I would like to see the project, the plan be adopted.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Before I sat in this chair, I sat where Mr. Griswold was and represented that ward, and I believe the danger with College and Drake is significant. There have been accidents there, and there continue to be some accidents there. The other intersection is just really awkward. It's very goofy. I go through that probably 2-3 times a day. People are continuously not quite sure when they're supposed to go and when they're not supposed to go, and pedestrians are there. It's a little bit awkward as well. I would just have to presume that a roundabout would be more efficient and effective than this kind of cockeyed intersection we've got going on right now. So I'm in favor of these projects. Anyone else? Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion- All right, anyone? All right, the motion carries. And just to let the citizens know, this money is coming from the transportation plan. This is money that comes from the gas tax. City of Auburn's received $470,000.
Correct.
The cost of these projects is much greater than that, but
About $2.6 million
we can
projects.
apply
This
that
is
money
offsetting,
to
yeah,
other projects, right?
absolutely.
Correct, okay. And all that information's in our online if you'd like to read about that. All right, moving ahead. Is there any other? All right, we've got everything pulled off, so do I have a motion to approve the balance of the consent agenda?
So moved.
All right, I have a motion second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the consent agenda is approved. Ordinances.
Item 9A1 is a request from Matthew Kane to annex approximately 1.79 acres of property located at 365 Lee Road 51, also known as Chadwick Lane. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request at its August 10th meeting. Unanimous consent is necessary.
I'll introduce the ordinance and ask unanimous consent.
Second.
I have a motion and seconds. Anyone on the council have a problem moving forward with the vote on this evening? All right, seeing and hearing none. Lindsay?
Adams,
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Griswold,
Yes, ma'am.
Foreman,
Yes, ma'am.
Parsons,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and I did not ask for comments or questions. I apologize for that, council. Does anybody have anything they'd like to?
I'd just like to ask
So-
what the status of the West Auburn Development Master Plan is, so that, because it's certainly in that area. Just like to see where we stand on it.
There isn't a development of a West Auburn master plan. It was the comprehensive plan update that we still owe you, that staff is still working on. We were waiting on the comprehensive plan model to be completed, Mr. Howard, and this is our interactive growth model so that we could provide all the data you're seeking.
And we're very close to the final stages of that right now, so I would expect we would have that information for the city manager very shortly, and then be able to hold some sort of a session or joint session with council and planning commissioner.
Good news. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry about that mistake. All right.
All right, so you've already voted on it. Okay. Item 9B2 is a request from Herring Development LLC to annex approximately 85.79 acres of property located on Bridlewood Drive, east of Creekwood Trail. The Planning Commission failed to recommend approval of this request by a vote of 3-4 at its July 13th meeting. This item was postponed from the July 18th City Council meeting. Therefore, first reading has already occurred.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Since this is second reading, do we go right into discussion right here, Megan? Okay. Anybody on the council have any comments or questions?
I'd like to move that we postpone this until the 5th of September. According to the package for the Planning Commission, it says the portion of Bridlewood Drive traverses the subject property will be constructed concurrently as the site is developed. I believe until such time as the developer agrees to the road construction or that a development agreement is in place, that we've discussed over the last several council meetings, I believe a postponement is appropriate.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to postpone this until the first meeting in September, which is September the 5th. Okay. Any discussion on that?
I would like to say that in conversation with the applicant, that they are requesting that we move ahead. There is already an approved plat for this subdivision that was approved regardless if it was in the city or the county. I think it is the benefit of this city that this parcel comes into Auburn so that we have more ability to drive how the development continues. And I would like, if we get past this motion, I have further comments. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments related to this?
I plan to abstain on this.
Okay.
And yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to just clarify, I'm not concerned about the annexation. That's not the point. I'm concerned about us not having the data before we make this final decision. That's all.
Anyone else? Okay. So do this by roll call.
You don't have to, it's up to you, but we just need to clarify if people are on both sides what the count is. So if it's
Yeah.
easier, just do roll call then
Okay.
go for it.
So yes, you are supporting the amendment.
Postponement.
Yes, you are supporting the postponement. No, you're not.
You're not supporting and you want to act on this tonight.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right, Lindsay?
Adams,
No.
Oglent,
Same.
Dawson,
No, ma'am.
Griswold,
Yes.
Mormon,
No, ma'am.
Parsons,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Witten,
No.
No. All right, so we'll go back now to the original motion.
You have a
Okay.
motion and a second
We
for
have a motion
approval.
and a second. Any discussion related to that?
Yes, the applicant is here, and I do have a question of the applicant, if that's appropriate at this time.
Is council okay for the applicant to come forward, answer questions? Okay. Representative of the development?
Hey, y'all.
Hey there.
Would you state your name and address?
My name's
for the
Will
record?
Herring,
Address, Will.
1712 Creekwood Trail.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Ms.
Mr.
Will.
Herring. I just want to confirm that since you do have an approved plat for the subdivision that we're looking at the property to annex, that should this council annex, that you stand by that plat and decide to, and you are definitely moving forward with developing that as approved by the Planning Commission.
100%, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Just for a point of clarification for the council, the plat is approved if this is annexed into the city. It is not currently approved until an annexation is final.
Thank you. Okay, any further questions or comments?
Could we have the planning department address what happened at the planning commission to result in the disapproval, please?
The recommendation for denial, absolutely, Mr. Howard.
Yeah, so at the, I guess,
July.
July, either June or July Planning Commission meeting, I apologize, it's here.
July 18th, there you go.
Yes, July 18th.
Oh, sorry,
meeting.
13th.
13th. At that meeting, a motion was made to approve. There was some discussion amongst Planning Commission members about kind of that outlying piece to the northwest of the property, which is proposed to remain outside of the city limits, while the remainder of the property is proposed to come into the city limits as part of this annexation. There was some discussion again and consternation about that, and wanting to really bring all of that into the city. Ultimately, the vote to approve it failed on that, I guess, 3-4 number that was mentioned earlier. And that was the primary reason, I believe, based on the discussion for the downvote of those who did downvote it.
All right, thank you. And so the creation of a county island was the issue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and based on the location of this island, I don't have an objection to it. I think it's, because it's not up against a major roadway, it's way off in the side, it's not gonna be surrounded by communities within the Auburn city limits. So I think this is a very, very different story than our other county islands that we have debated about numerous times with billboards and whatnot. So I have no objection to the creation of the county island.
I would also like to clarify that I too am comfortable with this enclave that's being created, since there is already a pre-existing enclave that would remain regardless if that parcel was included in this annexation or not.
Any further comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Please.
Planning staff recommended approval, correct?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All right, we have a motion and a second. So Lindsay, we'll do the roll call. Yes, if you are for this annexation, no if you're not. All right?
Abstain?
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Griswold,
Yes, ma'am.
Mormon,
Yes, ma'am.
Parsons,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
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 Item 9A3 authorizes the repeal and replacement of ordinance number 3044 for the Trey and Mary Ham annexation due to an incorrect legal description that was included in the original ordinance. The request from Trey and Mary Ham overall was for the annexation of approximately 4.05 acres of property located on the north side of Lee Road 145 and west of Society Hill Road. Unanimous consent is necessary.
I'll introduce the ordinance and ask for unanimous consent.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Anyone on the council have a problem moving forward with vote on this evening? Seeing and hearing none, any comments or questions?
This was just a legal description that's being corrected.
Correct. The
basically.
ordinance as published had it switched from planning commission, it was correct, and city council, it ended up being transferred inadvertently, the wrong legal description, so therefore we need to redo it to be sure we do right by this annexation.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, Lindsay?
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Griswold,
Yes, ma'am.
Mormon,
Yes, ma'am.
Parsons,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Oblence,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Item 9B1 is a request from David Slocum to rezone approximately .52 acres of property located at 1009 and 1011 East Glen Avenue from Neighborhood Conservation 6 to Corridor Redevelopment East. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request at its July 13th meeting. Unanimous consent is necessary and a public hearing is required.
I'll introduce the ordinance and ask for unanimous consent.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Does anyone on the council have a problem moving forward with a vote on this evening? All right, seeing and hearing none, we'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the city council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record, and you'll have 5 minutes. Okay, seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from the council?
I do have a comment and a couple questions, Megan. Overall, I do support the redevelopment on Glen Avenue. I have some concerns about this. This zoning, the corridor redevelopment district zoning applying to the properties along Cherry Street. It was my understanding that zoning is meant to, that corridor redevelopment is a redevelopment of Glen. Is that the intent?
Well, due to the depth of parcels, so a parcel adjacent that has been rezoned, when the lines were drawn in the land use plan, and you can look in the East Glen rezoning maps in your packet and across the street, most of it runs one parcel deep, but a lot of these parcels are very long and they have quite the depth to them, whereas the ones along Cherry Street got developed at some point in time and subdivided. And so some, you've got very few parcels off of Cherry, 3 to be specific, face Glen and Cherry, 2 face Glen and Cherry Street, and 1 just faces Glen, and the rest sit further back. So the zoning lines tend to be drawn where it makes sense. It's not a zoning line, a land use designation. So it was recommending, due to the depth of adjacent parcels, that all of this could be corridor redevelopment east. But the main goal of the plan, if I'm understanding your question correctly, was front-facing some different things on Glen Avenue besides single-family detached houses. It's a major arterial road, so yes.
Well, like I said, I am in favor of this rezoning, but in the future, if we have other rezonings that come in on Cherry Street that are these lots that are just facing Cherry Street, not on Glen behind it, I think that we should, I think the nature of those lots is very different than those that are facing Glen, and probably be a little bit more residential in nature than commercial. Well, what I don't want to see happen is I don't want to see this area of Cherry Street become a little commercial district up to Birch. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else with a comment or question?
Do we know who owns those parcels on Cherry Street that are north of the subject property? Is it a common owner?
Hold on, we're checking.
I believe there are a handful of several different owners.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, this proposed zoning change has illustrated for me just how important and what a big impact the 2030 plan makes. It's not just an exercise. It has a great impact on the whole process. I plan to respectfully disagree with the 2030 plan and vote no on the rezoning tonight for 2 reasons. One, I want to preserve Cherry Street as a quiet neighborhood ingress and egress access road to this neighborhood. And also, I'm not sure that what this corner would look like if I voted yes. Would there be a restaurant there? Would there be other retail there? I don't know. So the unknown of this, as it affects the neighborhood, as it affects the ingress and egress to this neighborhood on Cherry Street, causes me concern, and I have to disagree with the plan, at least as far as the development along Cherry Street, to include the lots that are on the corner.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Just, I'd like to say I agree with what Tyler said. I think he hit the nail on the head, and had the same concerns he expressed about Cherry Street, but I think it's good to go like we are asked tonight.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone else? Okay. Lindsay?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Parsons,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Goins,
Yes.
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Anders.
Yes.
Item 9B2 is a request from Cooper Wallace to rezone approximately 3.1 acres of property located at the northwest corner of Corporate Parkway and Cox Road from Comprehensive Development District to Interstate Commercial District. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request at its July 13th meeting. Unanimous consent is necessary and a public hearing is required.
I'll introduce the ordinance and ask unanimous consent.
Second.
Have a motion and seconds. Anyone on the council have a problem moving forward with vote on this evening? All right, seeing and hearing none, we'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the city council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from the council? Okay, Lindsay?
Yes, ma'am.
Parsons,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Goins,
Yes, ma'am.
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Griswold,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Item 9C authorizes lowering the speed limit on Tuscany Hills Drive from 30 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour, as well as the installation of new speed limit signs. Unanimous consent is necessary.
I introduce the ordinance and ask for unanimous consent.
Second.
Have a motion second. Does anyone on the council have a problem moving forward with vote on this evening? Seeing here none, any comments or questions?
I just would like to say, thank you to the staff for, looking into this, and albeit I didn't hear from any of the residents directly, but I don't think anyone's gonna argue with, a lower speed limit within a residential neighborhood. And then the map in our packet does show that side streets throughout the neighborhood are also 25. So it will be consistent through the whole neighborhood.
Ms. Crouch, what actions took place to make this happen?
City Engineer Frazier would love to tell you about that.
Would she?
She absolutely would. She's been chomping at the bit to speak this evening.
Well, speak into that microphone, city engineer.
Good evening. We received a request from the HOA regarding the speed limit. And when Tuscany Hills was developed, our residential collector standards were 30 miles per hour, which is why it's 30. And so we did a speed study and it warranted going to 25.
Good.
Allison,
Excellent job.
quickly explain, though, what warrants that. So a lot of times you're hearing from people in neighborhoods, most of you have reached out to me and said, please do a speed study on behalf of a constituent. And a lot of times I'm coming back and reporting to you, we cannot lower the speed limit. And so, Allison, please explain what happens, because it's rare that we actually can lower it. We did on North College not that long ago, but this study has to show that people are going slower, not faster.
That's correct. So we put the tubes out and we do account for a certain length of time, but we look at what we call the 85th percentile speed, which means 85% or more, whatever that number is. If the speed limit is posted at 25 and the 85th percentile, say, is 30, it may warrant raising the speed limit. So the 85th percentile, is the number we use when we're looking at making adjustments to speed limit, because that tells the prevailing speed of most of the travelers.
In this case, they were driving slower than 30 posted,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
So very unusual, but it does happen. And that just depends, that also means people's perception. It also avoids, we do not allow speed traps. So the notion is if you lower the speed limit when the 85th percentile is driving faster than that, that is a speed trap. Yeah.
So how low can you go with the speed limit?
Is that a song or is that a speed limit?
I was trying to word it different. I was trying to get it in my mind. I got to say it this way.
The city code stipulates our speed limits, and 25 is the minimum. However, I think we may have one or two streets that are at 20, but that's outlined in the city code.
Just a little information this evening. There you go.
Any further questions? Okay. Lindsay?
Parsons,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Griswold,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Under Resolutions, item 10A is a request from the Industrial Development Board of the City of Auburn for conditional use approval of an industrial manufacturing use to be located at 2575 Innovation Drive. The company will be known as IBS USA. A public hearing is required.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This time we'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the city council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record, and you'll have 5 minutes to speak. See no one, we'll close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from the council? Continue to be very excited about this development. Appreciate the great work of our staff. All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 10B authorizes a tax abatement for Shenhua Auto USA Corp. to be located at 2535 West Tech Lane. The company is constructing and equipping a building and plans to invest $114 million and employ approximately 50 people.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
Well done. $114 million investment. That's great.
That's on top of their already several.
The total capital investment, Philip, for all Shenhua facilities?
Between 250, close to 300 million total.
Fantastic.
Great, thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 10C1 authorizes a contract with Barge Design Solutions for Task Order 37 for the Mall and Tacoma Drive Sanitary Sewer Evaluation Survey Project in the amount of $272,841.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 10C2 authorizes the execution of a subrecipient agreement with the Industrial Development Board of the City of Auburn for the construction of the Auburn Center for Developing Industries Business Center.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Certainly want to say thanks to Congressman Mike Rogers again for his assistance in making this project a reality. All right, anyone else? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 10C3 authorizes the purchase of one heavy-duty pumper truck from Sitfin Corporation for the fire department in the amount of $873,731.64.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
I knew Bob would move for approval on that one. I understand this takes 2 years, 3 years?
2 to 4 years. We're up to 48 months on this one, yes.
It's a long time.
This is for Fire Station number 4 and further out than we anticipated, but we're having to order now to be sure in the year we're expecting it is delivered.
Okay, any other comments or questions? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 10D authorizes the installation of one traffic calming device, a speed hump for Tivoli Village Drive between Dulce-Ella Lane and Montiano Lane. 71% of the citizens in that area agreed with this.
Move for approval.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
Just one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is this?
It's off of North College. It's a subdivision off of North College on the, just past the fisheries.
Oh, okay. It's out that way.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor, those are all the items of business we have for you on the agenda this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Crouch. Before we get started with citizens' communications, I just want to remind our public to use decorum in your comments, and please do not call the names out of our staff or of us up here. Talk to us as a group. If you've got something to say it to the city council, say it to me. Please refrain from using people's names, okay? If you'd like to speak to the council, please come forward. You've got 3 minutes, and we'd ask that you give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Mary Moore. I'm a resident at the 425 Webster Road here in Auburn, to Mayor Anders. And also, just so you know, I'm the hidden mother that Ron hid for many years. But he played with my son when he came up. I bring
I'll claim
this-
you married.
I bring this issue before you today because we've discussed many times here at the City Hall about the area at the Webster's Crossing mobile home community, and I'm a tenant there. I also own property at the 913 Slaughter, but I'm a tenant there, and we've had issues with them for many, many years. One issue that I'm really concerned about, and I've shared it with a few people, how would we do this thing? And it's a water issue that just recently came out where they are asking tenants to pay additional, they're tacking on additional money to their water bill. And my concern is if we're being supplied by the city of Auburn and each park should be in compliance with the city rates, rules, and regulations, can that be so? Can they just, even if it's a private-owned property, we've had situations with them, and, I don't know where else to turn because of one person's problem. They disobeyed the rules and regulation of the park, but each tenant is being charged for that disobedient, and that's just not right. And I have a real big problem with that. But my thing is to carry it back to them. I want to know if the city of Auburn is in compliant. That the park is supposed to be in compliant with what the rules and regulations are and their rates. If they raise the rates, then I can understand that. If the city raised the rate, I can understand that. But can a privately owned individual do that to the tenants in their park? That is my question, and I was wanting to understand the meaning
Sure.
behind that.
Ms. Moore, we'll look into that and we'll get back to you very soon, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yes,
And
ma'am,
Ms.
thank you.
Moore has contacted me directly, and we are still looking into it.
Okay.
It's complicated legally, but probably not the answer she's gonna wanna hear from me, but I have a few more things I need to verify.
Okay.
But she has reached out, and absolutely, we've been looking into it and trying to turn over every stone, to get her questions answered.
Okay, and I also want to say congratulations, Becky.
Thank you. Who'll be next?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeff Walker, and I live at 2078 Autumn Ridge Way. I'm here this evening to try to bring attention to an outstanding young lady in our city. Here in Auburn, we use the phrase, "a spirit that is not afraid," often. And in Alabama, our state motto is roughly, "we dare defend our rights." This 16-year-old has embodied both of those two statements in the face of bigotry and oppression that no young person should endure. Over the last 2 years, this young lady has traveled across the nation to bring awareness to the rights of LGBTQ community that are being legislated against. She's visited with legislators here in Alabama, sacrificing her spring breaks for the opportunity to sit down and provide real lived experiences. She's also been to Washington, D.C. several times meeting with federal officials. Last year, she sat down with the Vice President, Second Gentleman, and the Assistant Secretary of Health, Admiral Levine. More recently, she's been invited to speak to the House Equality Caucus, which is the largest caucus in the nation, the Democratic caucus in June, to bring awareness to the plight of the LGBTQ youth in the South. And she's now the youngest person in history to testify in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. She was personally invited by Senator Durbin, and she sat before some of the hardest leaders in our country with poise and distinction to deliver her message. At the end of that 2-hour session, Senator Durbin called her out specifically through sitting through that at such a young age. He was very nervous about inviting her in the first place because, being 16 years old, this could be very challenging. But he applauded her courage. All of this, traveling and speaking, maintaining a high GPA at Auburn High School, very active in multiple extracurricular activities, and just trying to be a 16-year-old, which is hard enough. In these few minutes, I can only briefly touch on the accomplishments of my daughter, Harley Walker. But I just ask that you city leaders look into this rising civil rights leader in our country and think about, should you recognize her spirit that is not afraid? Thank you.
Thank you. Who'll be next?
Martha Shamp, 307 Camellia Drive. I'd like to share some headlines, recent headlines. June 2022, Worcester, Massachusetts. U.S. Bishop strips Jesuit school of Catholic status for defiantly flying pride flag. August 12th, 2023, Missouri City excludes children from all drag shows. August 1st, 2023, library director fired over graphic books in Wyoming library. July 19th, Wyoming Library Board passes strong policy to keep obscene books out. In the UK, today's headline, August 15th, Oxford University pressured to remove pride flags from churches. August 3rd, 2023, Bud Light sales continue to plunge after transsexual Dylan Mulvaney fiasco. May 30th, 2023, Target losses swell to $12.4 billion. Target's market value dropped by another $2.4 billion. The decent shareholders bear the brunt of Target's evil marketing campaign that promotes homosexual degeneracy on children's clothes and female swimsuits with a tuck for male genitalia. This has put Target stuck on the longest losing streak since November 2018. Go woke, go broke. Most Americans despise the LGBT false religion. Headline, August 5th, 2023. Christian actor and children's author Kirk Cameron won his fight against leftist forces that tried to block him from reading at the Huntsville, Alabama library. He won. Another news headline, Riley Gaines, female Olympic swimmer and champion for women's sports, is winning her fight against the shameless male who calls himself Leah Thomas. But a true hero in the culture wars is Governor Ron DeSantis. He has cleaned up his state, the school libraries, made it easier for parents to challenge books in school libraries, books they deem to be pornographic. Thank God for all of these good headlines.
Who'll be next? Okay, we'll close citizens' communications. Anyone else on the council have anything?
Well, it's nice to know that Ms. Shamp has got a larger picture about not just books.
Anyone else? Is there a move to adjourn?
On a lighter note, could you please try to get a turn arrow at Webster and Wire? I've been asking for soon be.
We have made that request of the university on multiple occasions. It is their intersection.
I know, but just please worry them like I worry you.
Don't you worry. We have a meeting tomorrow, our quarterly meeting, and all of my department heads that are here that are sitting that meeting, we will collectively remind them all in concert
Thank you.
that you requested that this evening.
The city
Again,
puts the turn lane in, and all they gotta do is put the little arrow up there.
I hear you. And they're going to hear all about it tomorrow.